Hello, good morning, and welcome along to the EPLW Gameweek preview. We've got a massive game week this week of 4 games, and one of them's already been played. But you know, we're gonna have some fun anyway. Yeah, welcome along. This is obviously EPLW Gameweek preview. Remember, you can support us on Patreon. We'd love to have your support there at patreon.com/Joe Carter EPLW. You can also follow us on Twitter, which would be lovely because we've got 8 followers at the moment, and we'd love to get to that first big milestone of 10 followers. So if you're watching and you want to you want to contribute, get involved. Alongside me this morning is a regular guest, a man who needs very much an introduction. It is, of course, the man who went from being Grant Minchell in EastEnders to being a journalist in war zones. Hello to the mighty Roz Kemp. How are you, Roz?
Nice, yeah. That's a good one.
How's
have you seen
Phil?
any of his, him on extras with Ricky Gervais and that?
No, I haven't actually.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. He's like posing as this sort of like proper tough guy. So, SAS. I'm SAS. They wouldn't lie to one of their own. Right.
Brilliant. We're also joined today by EPLW regular, should I say. It is the pun king, the pun machine, Mus. How you doing, mate?
Morning, guys. I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for the call up.
Yeah, you're welcome. Getting a few more appearances towards the tail end of the season as we need to use the squad a bit more, you know, calling on you.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm just in it for the appearance bonuses, so was happy to accept.
Great. I mean, that doesn't surprise me seeing you in a Real Madrid shirt talking about appearance bonuses. Do you want to explain to us the Real Madrid shirt, or just a fan?
Well, I tend to pick up football shirts from cities that I've visited, so that explains it. But
so
yeah,
where did you get that one?
You'll be surprised to hear, Joe. I got it from the capital of Spain, Madrid, and yeah, I just thought, given the Champions League draw yesterday, I would just wear it to annoy Liverpool fans.
Did you just to annoy Liverpool fans? Brilliant. Did you get an Atletico shirt as well? I'm pretty disappointed that you went for a Real Madrid shirt, and if you didn't get an Atletico shirt, I'd be upset about that.
So the problem is, I already have an Olympiacos shirt, which I deliberately didn't wear last week. And I just thought, you know, from a fashion perspective, they're just too similar.
That's a fair cop, but you know, you are sponsoring a state-run club there. Anyway, talking of Atletico Madrid, I watched the Griezmann film last night on Netflix, and it was absolutely amazing. Have either of you guys seen it?
No, not yet.
I recommend it. It's only like an hour long. It's subtitled, so make sure you're sort of nice and awake. And if you're a fan of subtitles, then go for it. But it's really interesting. Obviously, he talks about his journey from sort of he was rejected loads as a kid for being too small, and he ended up having to travel 600 miles from his home because the only club that would look after him was Real Sociedad. You know, the good guys, and the rest is history. But it tells a story right up to the World Cup final 2018 as well. Anyway, that is by the by. Let's talk ball, lads. Let's talk ball. So we'll get straight into it and have a look at this week's mammoth list of fixtures. So last night, Fulham lost at home to Leeds 2-1. We'll get onto that briefly in a second. Then tonight at 8 p.m, we've got Brighton hosting Newcastle at the Amex. And then on Sunday, Super Sunday, 3 o'clock, West Ham host Arsenal in surely what is the pick of the ties. And Sunday evening, 7:30, Aston Villa hosting Spurs at Villa Park. You can catch all of these matches on Sky Sports. And also, because of the short list of matches, I've also put the Premier League table, or the top half of the Premier League table, in this little window. So I'll quickly run you through it. Arsenal sitting in 10th on 41 points. Villa 9th on 41 points with a game in hand. Also over Spurs, who are on 45 points. In 8th, 7th, Everton, 6th, Liverpool, both on 46. 5th, West Ham on 48. Then Chelsea, Leicester, Man United and Man City make up the top 4, 14 points ahead of their closest and City rivals. So yeah, a couple of big games coming up, lads. Which match is standing out to you, Roz?
You'd think it would be West Ham Arsenal, West Ham being higher up, but actually, I think if Spurs don't get a win in this game, then they're top for hopes are sort of slimming significantly. And Villa too. I mean, you can see they're probably sort of more chasing the 5th place. But that should be a tasty game, particularly after Spurs' glorious exit in the Europa League, which I'm sure you two are buzzing about.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but seeing as you went there, yeah, what a shame, poor old Spurs and poor old Joe Hart's social media person. They're going to get a bit of a bashing, and presumably they've been sacked. But yeah, in case you didn't know about that, if you're watching, Joe Hart's Instagram, was it Instagram? Mus, do you want to talk us through this one? Actually, you brought this to our attention.
Yeah, sure. So I think it was his Twitter account.
Oh, right. Okay.
Roz, correct me if I'm wrong, but after the game, there was a post that said, "Job done, Spurs 3-0," with a little green tick. And of course, it was posted by an outsourced social media manager on behalf of Joe Hart, who clearly hadn't watched the game, just kind of heard the result and assumed. You would have, if you wonder why they assumed this, assumed it was a Spurs victory.
Wow.
So yeah, embarrassing for Joe.
I mean, the term "you had one job." I mean, like, I can't believe that anyone would be sort of in charge of however many footballers' social media accounts and just not bother to really follow the results that closely. It's absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's definitely worse than the Victor Anachabi "Can you say something like?" Because that was also a classic, but that was clearly a footballer not being the sharpest in the box. But yeah, this was just poor form.
Yeah, Mus, what's sticking out to you as the game of the weekend in the Premier League?
So, I mean, we don't have an abundance of options, but I'm going to go for the one other one that Roz didn't mention, and that's the Brighton Newcastle game. That's a big cliched relegation 6-pointer.
Yeah.
I think they'll be kind of buoyed by the Fulham result yesterday, and they'll know that victory against another relegation rival could really kind of put some space between them and the other two.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a quick look in the comments. Already got a couple of people saying hello this morning. Jack says, "Morning, chaps." Jack, one of our patrons. How you doing, mate? Lovely to have you here. And thank you for your continued contributions. Remember, if you're watching and if you want to contribute to this channel and make it bigger, better, you can head to patreon.com/Joe Carter EPLW. Hello also to Harvey, who says, "Hey guys, I'm back." Harvey joined us last week for the first time, and he obviously really enjoyed it. So thanks for joining us, Harvey. Great win for my Leeds team last night, he said. Yes, it was. And we're going to get onto that very soon. But first, we need to look at last week's predictions that Roz and I made. So, this is going to be a little bit sketchy because I haven't prepared as well as I usually do, Roz. So bear with me. Here we go. So, let's start with Leeds-Chelsea. You said 2-0 to Chelsea. Jorginho would score or be man of the match. I said 2-0 to Chelsea and Mason Mount. So that's 0 points each, right?
Great start.
Yeah. Palace against West Brom. We both said 0-0. You said Sam Johnston. And I said Vita Gaeta. What? Do I get Gaeta because Palace got a clean sheet?
Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I think like in the total...
Cheers, mate. No, thank you.
running of
Everton,
things,
Burnley.
it's 4-1, right?
What's that?
I'm 4-1 in front, so I'll let you have that.
Yes, you are 4-1 in front. Thanks for reminding me. Everton, Burnley. You said 2-0 to Everton and Jordan Pickford would be man of the match. I said 2-1 to Everton. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, man of the match. So, I mean, I get Calvert-Lewin because he scored, presumably. So
Yeah.
that's 1 point
Yeah,
for me. Yeah. You know how it works. Fulham, Man City. You said 2-1 Man City, Kevin De Bruyne. I said 1-1 with Mahrez. I mean, you get the win for Man City, so that's 1 point for you, is it? You happy to take that? Okay, Southampton against Brighton. You said 1-0, I said 1-0, and we both said James Ward-Prowse. So neither of us got the result, and neither of us got the scorer or the score, so that's another 0 points for both of us. This is going well, isn't it? Leicester, Sheffield United was the next one. Leicester won this one 5-0. You said 1-0 and Vardy. I said 1-1 and Iheanacho. I'm tempted to give you Vardy.
They got 2 assists, 3 assists.
Yeah, and I'll take
Goal.
Iheanacho for man of the match, definitely. So you'll get
Yeah, fair
2
enough.
points for that one, and I get 1. Arsenal Spurs, you said 4-0 to Spurs and Bale to score. How wrong you were with that. And that's when you triggered me last week, and that was quite funny for everyone else except for me. And I said 1-1 and Kane. So 0 points each for us there. We were absolute trash with these predictions last week, Roz. Man United, West Ham. We both said West Ham would win 2-1. You said Souček. I said Antonio. And Man United actually won 1-0. So 0 points each there. Wolves, Liverpool. Wolves, Liverpool on Monday night. You said 2-0 Jota, and I said 1-0 to Wolves. Daniel Podence. Liverpool won 1-0, and Diogo Jota got the goal. So that's 2 points for you and 0 points for me. Let's add these up then, shall we? Have a quick look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points for Roz. Oh God, I don't know. I don't know if I like this. And for me, 1, 2, 3. 3 points. Is that all I got?
Yeah, man.
Oh no, hang on. No, it's 3 points. It's definitely 3. 5-3, and that means Roz overall you're 5-1 up. Okay, Mus, you're going to take my place for this week's predictions, which we'll do as we go along in the show. Ryan has joined us in the comments. It says, Jack, why are you on this chat? You're a Blackburn fan. And Jack says, my new viewer, Ryan, is lurking away from the comments. He's a Man City fan, though. Oh, right. There's a bit of beef in the comments, lads. I love it. Between 2 former Premier League champions, Blackburn and Man City, although, albeit, 25 years apart. So hello to Ryan. Hello to Jack, having some beef in the comments there. Right. Let's start then by talking about last night's game. Who watched it? Mus, do you want to talk us through what happened?
Yeah, so the first half, Leeds had the better of it. I'm sure Harvey would agree. And they had 2 goals disallowed before they scored their first. There was a bit of a concern around Bamford before the game and in the initial 20 minutes when he was hobbling around. But fortunately, he recovered to score the first goal. Really well worked corner, if I remember correctly, with short one into Harrison, and then played it to the near post, and Bamford, showing up Southgate's poor decision making, got ahead of his man and tucked it away. Just before half time, Fulham equalised from a corner again. Anderson volleying it in. What a signing he's been, albeit on loan. And then in the second half, Fulham never really got going, and Raphinha for Leeds was the winner. And I think, on the whole, it was a well-deserved victory.
Yeah, I mean, what a signing he has been, Roz. But obviously not. Fulham didn't have enough on the day to beat a resurgent Leeds team. But let's just talk about Anderson for a second at Fulham. He's made such a difference, hasn't he, to Scott Parker's outfit?
He's a leader in that back line. And actually, I think what's really interesting is how the players around him have upped their game since he's come in. I think we said a couple of times on the show that, for me, Aina just looked well out of his depth in the first half of the season. Looked like a championship player if I've ever seen one. And now all of a sudden he's sort of looking like one of the most reliable players in that Fulham team. But yeah, he's managed to strike up a really good partnership in the very short time that he's been there. The back line just looks a whole lot more solid. I don't think they'll be too... they could have got a result yesterday, particularly given Leeds' sort of lack of goal-scoring form in the last couple of weeks. But actually, I don't think these are the fixtures they'll be looking at of necessarily kind of needing the boys to stay up.
Yeah, so, I mean, now it's kind of one more bit on Fulham, really. They're now 2 points behind Newcastle in that kind of race for survival. But crucially, Newcastle got 2 games in hand. So it looked like Fulham were doing the job. But then they just kind of come unstuck a bit because they faced Man City last week, which is just, anyone's going to struggle against City. But then to follow it up, obviously, they've had to face another massive attacking outfit in Leeds.
I mean, you know what? They tried to play football against Man City. And for that, if they got half the praise that Leeds get, when Leeds lost in glorious fashion to Man United by trying to play football and just trying to attack. I didn't really see much of that in the press. But, they lost, conceded 3 goals against City, but they were still trying to sort of pass it out from the back and trying to sort of do things their way, which I thought was actually quite inspiring. They've also got Southampton to play, I believe. And Southampton are one of those teams that are sort of more than capable of going on a 6-game losing run.
Yeah, we know that for sure.
There are plenty of teams down there that could just finish the season terribly.
Yeah, surely it's not going to be too long before we start getting out the run-in graphics and seeing who's got what fixtures and talking through them. So Leeds, I mean, they got back to their best last night, Mus, would you say?
Something resembling their best. They're getting there. And they've missed Calvin Phillips clearly, and he played well yesterday. Had a good game. Not quite the same kind of marauding outfit on the counter attack, getting numbers forward as we saw earlier in the season. Which it's not the worst thing in the world. I think maybe it's a sign of maturity and just adjusting to the realities of being in the league and just needing to be a bit more conservative at times. And it's good to see them scraping a win here and there by the odd goal. And ultimately, that's what will kind of ensure they stay in the league and finish well.
Yeah, we're seeing a much sort of safer Leeds these days, aren't we, Roz? It's like we discussed this last week as well. They came up in this kind of blaze of attacking football, win, lose, whatever, score loads of goals. But they kind of got to a point of where now they can consolidate their staying up for this season. And we're actually seeing them actually defending.
I think your theory was that, they've sort of stopped concentrating on the goal scoring and tried to kind of become more solid for next season. I don't think you can ever call a 1-0 loss or any loss where you don't score a goal deliberate necessarily. But yeah, I mean, in fairness, Ben White was a massive part of their season last year, and they tried to move heaven and earth to get him back from Brighton, and Brighton just weren't ever selling him. And we've seen how good he's been for Brighton this season. And their main centre half pairing last season was Ben White and Liam Cooper, who's the club captain. And actually, they've brought in 2 very expensive for a side that's just come up, European centre halves in Robin Koch and Llorente from Sociedad, right?
Yeah.
So actually, and you've also got Struijk in there. So in terms of actually just maintaining that back line, back 4 and a goalkeeper, back 5, if you like, they haven't really been able to sort of, because of injuries and actually form, they haven't actually been able to kind of keep a back line together and get a bit of solidarity. So I will give them that. It'll be interesting to see what players they hold on to next year. I can see Calvin Phillips staying. He's Leeds through and through. Rafinha's been linked with a lot of big clubs, including Leeds' favourite sister club, Manchester United. So that could be a tasty transfer.
It could be a tasty one. And I mean, Bamford, we'll have to have one last word on Leeds and Patrick Bamford. I mean, Mus, has this guy done enough to get on the plane for England?
So I jokingly had a dig earlier at Gareth Southgate, but I generally believe he's kind of still on the borderline. I think people would understand it if he didn't end up making it into the squad, just because of the kind of state of the attacking assets that England have. So, it wouldn't be a travesty. Although he's had a decent season, but this is, one must remember, his first kind of fairly consistent season of goal scoring at the highest level. So maybe, the odd injury here and there, and he might sneak his way on.
Yeah, if you want to see more about Mus's thoughts on who should be in the England squad for the Euros, we've got a video on the channel at the moment, which we did a few nights ago, about trying to predict our squad for the Euros. Check that out. In the meantime, though, Roz looks like he's absolutely chomping at the bit to rip your head off about Leeds and Bamford or something. Let's hear it, Roz. Come on.
Oh, I was going to agree.
That's a shock.
I know, right? No, I was going to agree that I don't think Bamford will go unless there are kind of a few significant injuries. I think if we lose Harry Kane, then we're pretty screwed anyway. So, fine, take him. I don't. What I kind of disagreed with slightly was good goal scoring form, which is true if you look at his goals scored. Is he 13 and 5 assists or something like that? Which is very good for your kind of first season in the Premier League. But he needs about 5 chances to convert one for me. And he wasn't popular at Leeds. People kind of forget this. It was sort of Premier League fans that kind of weren't aware of Patrick Bamford before when he was on loan from Chelsea. And then eventually did get the transfer to Leeds. Leeds fans couldn't stand him because he couldn't hit a barn door. The manager didn't fancy him last year because he brought in Eddie Nketiah on loan from Arsenal, brought in a wonder kid on loan from Monaco, Jean-Augustin something. It's only this season where he's kind of found his feet, fair enough. I think the chances are actually great for him. He's an excellent finisher when he's got time on the ball. But for me, that's not an addition you want in your England squad. I don't think he really covers anything that we don't already have in other players. And I'd also say that the difference between, say, him and a Calvert-Lewin is he likes to sort of get played in on the shoulder and finish a chance like that. Whereas Calvert-Lewin, which Harry Kane can do very well, as well as all his kind of other attributes. Calvert-Lewin sort of sniffs out the space, sort of anticipates where the ball's going to drop, and gets kind of poacher's goals. That's it. He's a fox in the box. I mean, he's been linked a lot. He's been compared a lot. Can we seasons, kind of Inzaghi.
Right. If we're talking Dominic Calvert-Lewin anymore, you have to call him the space sniffer. Okay, that's his nickname now. Look, Roz, I know you're right in the middle. You're mid-flow. If you could just make your point quickly, we've got to move on.
I don't think Bamford should go to the Euros because I don't think he offers anything too different. I don't think he's that good a finisher. I think he just needs 5 shots to convert one. Fair
enough. I mean, I've got to make the point. Sorry, but with the creativity in England's midfield, if we can get that to work, then that doesn't necessarily matter. I don't know. You do need a clinical striker at a tournament. It's another one for another day. We've talked about the last night's game now for a good 15 minutes, so maybe we should get on to the next game. So later on today, you can see Brighton and Hove Albion take on Newcastle United at the Amex Stadium. If you're watching, get in the comments, and I want your predictions for this game, please. I need a scoreline and a man of the match. Okay, Brighton defender Dan Burn could be fit despite being substituted with a tight hamstring during last weekend's win over Southampton. Head coach Graham Potter has no other fresh injury problems. Newcastle, Miggy Almiron might feature after a 2-match absence because of that knee injury, and Alan, Saint-Maximin and Callum Wilson remain out with injuries, but Callum Wilson should be available immediately after the international break. So starting to look up a bit for Newcastle. Brighton looking like they might be without Dan Burn. Let's have your predictions then, lads. Mus, what's your prediction for this one?
I think it'll be close. I think Brighton will probably edge it. Just on form, but also just they play a more kind of controlled and predictable, but not necessarily in a bad way, style of football. So I trust them more than being consistent Newcastle. So I'll go 2-0 Brighton.
2-0 Brighton, and who's going to be the main man in that?
Let's go Trossard.
Trossard, okay. And Roz, how do you see it going?
I never thought I'd say this, but I think I think they really could miss Dan Burns' width and attacking form, which is not really
quite funny for like someone who's tall enough to be an NBA player. Like, you don't really think of that kind of positional play.
Yeah, I think ever since sort of Tarek Lamptey's kind of been out, really, and they've kind of been going mainly down that right-hand side, they've kind of switched it up, and Dan Burns just been brilliant, I think, for the last 2 or 3 months, actually, fairly consistently. He'd be a big miss if he doesn't play. However, I still see it going Brighton's way. I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton.
Ooh.
I did kind of fancy Trossard to score, but
Go for it then.
I don't know. I might change it up now. Let's go for Lewis Dunk.
Oh, Dunky Dunk. Interesting one. Quickly, I just looked it up. Who's taller, Dan Burn or Peter Crouch?
Peter Crouch.
Aren't they the same height?
Oh, Mus. They are the same height. They're both 6'7" officially. I mean, we'd have to stand them back to back and make sure they've both had a haircut, or at least got all their hair pressed down to find out who is actually the tallest. But just for reference, people, if you're watching, that's how tall Dan Burn is. You sort of have an idea of how tall Peter Crouch is. But imagine Peter Crouch playing as a wing back. Enough said. I'm going to have a quick look in the comments then, see if anyone's put their predictions. Okay, Tom Rumble. Tommy, how you doing? Tom, who joined us recently, last week's EPLW. He said, impressive Leeds performance again. Bamford very unlucky not to be in this week's squad. He also says, looks like Joe is losing the best manager autobiography battle to Mus. Thank you very much, Tom, for that one. Obviously, the mighty Arsene Wenger here. And Mus, who's that over your shoulder?
Is none other than Sir Alex Ferguson, his leading book.
Lovely.
I wish I'd brought my Joe Kinnear autobiography.
Isn't that
the Premier League Titans.
Isn't that a colouring in book?
Amazing. Oh my God, I've lost it.
Johan Kebab, was it? Or he literally said at one point, Joe Kinnear literally once said when he was like in a relegation drought with Newcastle, I believe I'm the best Premier League manager. I'm the best manager in the Premier League right now. So Fergie was still about.
Oh, Mus, mate, a colouring book. Love that. Also, Jack has given us his prediction. He says 2-1 to Brighton with Trossard to be the main man there. Let's see what happens there. So he's kind of gone for a combination of what you guys have both said. For the record, off the record, because Mus is kind of my guest predictor this week. He's doing it for me. I reckon you've both got it completely wrong. Newcastle are going to win it. Newcastle are going to win it 3-0. And I think John Joe Shelby's going to score an absolute banger of a goal from about 30 yards out. He's going to smash it.
You see what I reckon's happened here, Joe, is you've, in your subconscious somewhere, because of the way you always pronounce Graham Potter's name, you've gone for the one opposition player that looks like Harry's arch nemesis, haven't you?
Yeah,
Has anyone ever seen John Joe Shelby? Has anyone been in a crowd when John Joe Shelby's been playing? It's an absolute treat. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Harry Potter, he's coming for you. Great job.
Yeah. I saw the video where he was warming up at Anfield, and I think the West Ham fans were singing it, and he turned around and gave them a polite acknowledgement of how smart their chant was.
Good. I mean, if you stay on the Harry Potter theme, and if you just look at the managers alone, you've got Graham, Harry Potter versus Professor Sprout in
We do love a Harry Potter reference, and I can't wait for. Well, let's park that game there, and from one Harry Potter villain to another. Arsenal take on West Ham at the London Stadium on Sunday at 3:00. I wonder if Draco Malfoy, aka Martin Odegaard, will be starting for Arsenal. Let's have a look at the team news. West Ham have welcomed back Jesse Lingard, who was ineligible to face parent club Manchester United last time out. Pablo Fornals, Angelo Ogbonna, Arthur Masuaku and Andrew Yarmolenko all remain out due to injury. Bukayo Saka, who suffered a hamstring strain during last week's North London derby, is a doubt. Bamiyang, who was dropped for that game, if you'll remember, for a breach of club protocol, is expected to start. Although in midweek, Roz, he wasn't great, was he?
I feel like this week you could trigger me on Arsenal. And I'm the only guy here who's not an Arsenal fan. I'm sure you were both as well, absolutely disgusted. How as club captain can you turn up late to a North London derby? How can it not be your first offence? So how can you be club captain and regularly be tardy for match day meetings. And also, since he got that new contract, he's been absolute shite. Like, his head's clearly been turned. He feels like he's bigger than the club. If it was a player playing for my club, I would take the money ASAP. He just, club captain turning up late for a North London derby. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Shocking.
but it's Aubameyang. He can do what he wants, can't he?
No, Joe, he can't. It was pretty unforgivable. Especially that, we subsequently heard it wasn't his first offence, wasn't his first kind of late arrival. I think on the day, Arteta, on the whole, dealt with it well, because he did need to make a stand. But yeah, it sets a troubling precedent, and it's just been a problem area, hasn't it? The captaincy for Arsenal. The last captain, Granit Xhaka, kind of lost it through disciplinary reasons as well. And you don't want... Yeah, I guess there is that trend of like overreacting to try and appease someone and keep them when they are your best player at the time. And it's one thing to just award them a huge contract, and it's another thing to say, why don't you lead by example, be a captain on the pitch? Because then if performances slide, or if they start kind of taking the mick, it's much harder to drop them.
I think it's a battle between kind of player power, managing that player power, because Aubameyang very much, when he was playing very well, he kind of almost had Arteta's job in the palm of his hand a bit, because he was the main goal threat. If he stops scoring, then it's Arteta's fault. It's not Aubameyang's fault. But now it's kind of coming to light that actually Arteta is whipping him into shape, isn't he, at Arsenal? And I think he probably gave Aubameyang a couple of strikes. He's like, if this happens again, I'm benching you. And he had to make a point, and he put it out there. He publicised it. Maybe he's looking at, could we engineer some sort of deal? Maybe Arteta wants him out of the team, but he can't do it. He can't come out and say that because it's a bit of a controversial thing to say. But, regardless, Aubameyang's been great for Arsenal. Quickly, before I pass on to you, get your predictions in the comments for West Ham Arsenal on Sunday. Roz?
Also say I think Arsenal this season look far better without him in the side. If you talk to anyone about Arsenal, what's exciting at the club at the moment, it's the kids. I think I was saying to you the other day, actually, Joe, that what we saw last season was kind of Saka mainly actually playing as a left back.
Yeah.
But, in sort of the nitty-gritty bits of the match, they were sort of trying to get the ball to Aubameyang kind of every time. And then occasionally Saka would pop up and just do, his delivery last season was absolutely superb, do something really exciting. Now they're trying to get Saka the ball. He's Arsenal's talisman at the moment. They're trying to go through him. And actually, I think Smith Rowe, Odegaard, and Saka haven't seen too much Martinelli this season, but
hang on a minute,
they all
Roz.
look better when Lacazette plays.
I'm gonna have to jut in there. Did you just call the Croydon De Bruyne Smith Rowe? And did you just call Draco Malfoy Odegaard? Come on, we've got nicknames for these players for a reason. You can go again.
Croydon and Draco. But they look better when Lacazette, who had much less of a kind of ego on him.
Roz, it really looked like you were about to do the Lacazette celebration there for a second.
What is the Lacazette celebration? Is it? Oh, yeah.
Lacazette is kind of more of a false nine, and he brings those creative midfielders into play, and we look like a much more fluid Arsenal going forward. We almost look like early days Wenger, with that slightly more solid back line. I say we because I'm an Arsenal fan. I should be being impartial here, really. But, is it impartial to have Arsene Wenger's autobiography on the shoulder? I don't know. I just love IFAB these days, and I wanted to know a bit more about IFAB's, new rule maker.
You just love the offside proposals.
I love it, mate.
And I was going to say, just a footnote on the whole disciplinary issue. I think something that's kind of gone a bit unnoticed is that, it was reported he left the stadium in 25 minutes after the final whistle and didn't join the warm down, which, perhaps he had Arteta's approval to do so, but still it worries me a bit that he just didn't feel that he should stick around with all the other unused subs and eat a bit of humble pie and just end the day without creating another headline.
Let's quickly put this into some context. He was away he did have to go back home to see his mother who was ill recently. So maybe that's a factor in him being late, leaving early. But Roz, go on.
It's the North London derby. Sorry, you know, you can't as club captain do that, or you kind of just say that you're not available at all if it's going to be a struggle. But no, I was just going to say a sort of quick fire prediction, because you know how good we are at predictions, right?
Yeah, we are so good at predictions.
You know, last week we were so great.
Is that the royal we?
Let's go to do a transfer prediction, which I can see, given Borussia Dortmund's sort of transfer history, they tend to like to make big money when they can on players. They're kind of happy to sell on and get them for kind of their best value. Haaland's release clause comes into play next year, which I think is something ridiculous, like 60 million, which is ridiculous in itself to say that's cheap. But I can see them selling him this summer to kind of get 150, 200 million, whatever he'll go for. And then Dortmund also have a history of re-signing former players in their early 30s to mid 30s. And the fans always kind of take to them and go, "Oh, we forgive you for joining Bayern. Don't worry about it."
Royce, Hummels, Goetze, you know.
So I can see, I can see Arteta wanting him out of the club. I think Arsenal perform generally better without him. And I can see them taking, 30 million?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd snap that up.
That's a fair price. I'd take that. Also, I mean, as an Arsenal fan, I don't know about you, Mus, I'd be open to a straight swap, Aubameyang for Haaland. What do you reckon? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? What's wrong with you? That's great. That's a great deal.
Yeah. Throw in a few quid on top from the Dortmund end, and I think, I can accept that.
Yeah, great prediction there, Roz. I mean, I could see that happening myself. Okay, prediction from the comments: West Ham, Arsenal 2-2. Lingard and Ødegaard. A fan of the guards there. The changing of the guard, maybe, from Jack. And he also says Saka's overrated. You're right there, Roz.
Jack's wrong. Has he ever watched Saka? No. What? Okay, elaborate, Jack.
Roz, he's one of our patrons. Okay, so be careful here. We don't want him to withdraw his funding.
He can say whatever he likes, Roz.
Yeah.
Name me a flaw in Saka's game for an 18-year-old.
Name
me a flaw in his game.
Name me
his
a flaw.
Delivery? Is it his pace? Is it his positional sense? Is it his... For his age, have you ever seen a player that good? He's English and, you know...
Wayne Rooney, Michael Owen,
overrated.
Phil Foden. Just off the top of my head.
I mean, no, sorry, I didn't really phrase that right. But no, he's a very exciting player, but I honestly don't think he has too many weaknesses in his game. I'd like to know why Jack thinks he's overrated. I mean, of course, he's right and I'm wrong because he's a patron and I'm an employee. But
yeah, I mean, he's not the finished article, is he? Maybe Jack means he's overrated by us because we're always bigging him up.
Perhaps, yeah. I imagine Jack's just typing, "We pay your salary." Perhaps I think Jack might just be referring to the hype rather than his talent. I'm sure, we all agree he's a talented guy, but yeah, perhaps people talk about him too much. I don't know. In terms of predictions and staying on the Harry Potter theme, I do have a bad feeling about Wingardium Leviosa. I actually put him in my fantasy team just because I know he's always going to score against Arsenal.
Wingardium Leviosa. Okay, so Mus, you're saying, what's the score you're saying?
Yeah, I'm going to say 1-1 draw with Lingard as the main man.
Ooh, interesting. Don't think Arsenal have got what it takes. Okay, Roz, are you going to go for Draco Malfoy, or what do you reckon? Who's the...
You're assuming it's an Arsenal player.
Yeah, obviously.
I think it'll be interesting. I think we're learning more about this Arsenal team kind of every week, really. It'll be interesting to see if they kind of have the mentality of building on a big result like they had last week, or whether they're a bit like maybe an Everton this season, or so many other kind of But Man United under Solskjaer for the last however many years, they get up for a big game and then kind of drop points where, on paper, I mean, I know West Ham have had a great season, but if you go player for player, Arsenal, I think, should get a draw, and that would be really good for you guys. So, you never know. In a couple of weeks' time, we might be talking about Arsenal in 9th place. So let's go for a 1-1 draw with Mikel Antonio to actually literally tie David Luiz in a knot. Do balloon magic.
You're both wrong because Arsenal are going to win. I just can't see it going any other way. Lacazette been rested, Odegaard and Croydon didn't play full 90 minutes. Maybe we haven't got Saka, but Martinelli came on midweek, looks good. Arsenal are going to win this. I'm telling you. If we can beat Spurs and send Spurs out of Europe, essentially psychologically,
If you can beat Spurs who just dropped a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, no, that's because of the defeat we inflicted upon them. It psychologically harmed them to that point. They thought they could beat us, and Arsenal smashed the hell out of them. It wasn't until the last 10 minutes that they had a few chances, and it was a moment of magic on the Harry Potter theme from Eric Lamela that got them a goal. They were shite on the day, Spurs.
Hold on. You say last 10 minutes. I think they could have easily won 3-2. Harry Kane hit the post from a free kick.
Do you mean like
ruled out from offside? He had no header that he should have finished. He should have done better with the second free kick. I know it's kind of shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, they could have got a result in that
game. I'm not convinced, mate. It was Arsenal. It was Arsenal's kind of. I can see he's trying to get them to play with this more dogged defence in the last sort of 10, 15 minutes of games, and he wants to build that kind of thing. Obviously, Arsenal looked a little bit shaky, but Spurs weren't good on the day. They just weren't good. They were. You're
right. They're a far better team. How many points ahead of them are you in the table at the moment?
Well, obviously, that.
It's -5, isn't it? It's -5, -4.
Tottenham are 4 points ahead of Arsenal in the table.
Okay.
I'm not fussed about that. St. Totteringham's Day 2021 will come. It's going to happen. But let's park the West Ham Arsenal chat there for a second, and we'll move on to our final game of the Premier League game week. It is, of course, Aston Villa at home to Tottenham Hotspur. 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. Can Tottenham recover from being dumped out of the Europa League after losing the North London derby unceremoniously? Aston Villa head coach Dean Smith says a decision will be made on Sunday morning as to whether Jack Grealish is fit to return from a shin injury, or as I like to call it, a shinjury. Bertrand Traore should be available despite a blow to his ribs last week, while Matty Cash could be recalled. Tottenham are again expected to be without forward Son Heung-min because of the thigh injury he suffered against Arsenal in the defeat at the Emirates, where they lost 2-1 to Arsenal in the North London derby, and Spurs lost to Arsenal 2-1. Eric Lamela serves a 1-game ban as a consequence of last week's sending off at the Emirates as they lost 2-1 to Arsenal. Giovanni Lo Celso returned from injury as a substitute against Dinamo Zagreb on Thursday night as Spurs lost 3-0 and went out of the Europa League. And he could make his first league appearance since December. Apologies if I'm being slightly biased, lads. If you're watching this one, get your predictions in the comments. Guys, how do you see this one playing out? Roz, tactically, what's going to happen here?
I mean, Mourinho's kind of dug out his players again. I think the Spurs documentary kind of gave an insight into... I think he often gets a lot of stick for being this kind of non-emotional sort of twatty manager who kind of bullies players. I think he's much more in the kind of Ferguson mould, being a father figure when he can be, and in the press doing things to usually put the heat on him and off the players. So it happens maybe once a year or something where he actually sort of says, my players, I don't know, can't explain it. They just let me down effectively. So it's whether he can kind of get them back on side, bounce back from that. They need the top four now. I predicted they would finish in the top 4. It's kind of now or never. They need to kind of put a run of games together. They need Champions League football. Daniel Levy needs that Champions League football to kind of fill his pockets. So I would say that it's going to happen. I think they're going to go on a run. It's going to start tomorrow. 2-1. 3-1.
3-1
3-1
Spurs.
Ballet.
Ballet, which translates to okay in Spanish. Just heads up. Maybe that's why I didn't get on at Madrid. Mus, talking of Real Madrid, how do you think this one's going to go?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think after all the abuse and jokes and memes at the expense of Mourinho and Tottenham going out to a team managed by, going out to a team managed by a head coach who's in prison, I imagine Mourinho's probably going to struggle to play Bale. He may even, not play Giovanni Lo Cell, so just because he's too traumatized, PTSD. So going, but no.
Oh,
This is
mate.
what happens when you don't come to me for more than 2 minutes. I just
I love it.
thinking of inane jokes. No, I think, it's hard to imagine that they could get much worse, right? And Aston Villa haven't looked like the same side without Grealish, and I struggle to think they can score more than 1 against Spurs. If we have time, we can maybe talk about Ross Barkley, but if not, I'm going to go with Spurs 2-1.
Spurs 2-1, and who's your main man?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. I will save my impressions of Harry Kane for another time. Mus, you wanted to talk about Ross Barkley.
Yeah, so I thought, excuse me, I thought initially Dean Smith was managing him quite well, because we kept hearing that, when Ross Barkley was speaking to Dean Smith about joining the club, he asked Dean Smith, can you guarantee that you'll get me into the England squad? And Dean Smith was like, yeah, I've done it with other players, Ollie Watkins, Grealish, well, I'm guessing he didn't say about Watkins at the time, but he basically said, yeah, don't worry, I'll do it for you. And the way that transfer has been spoken about is as if it was like a one-way thing where Aston Villa owe him something, and he doesn't necessarily have to deliver anything for them. And I felt like when he came back from injury, and I think he got bought off on the 60th, 70th minute, and he was like sulking no end, walking the long way around the pitch, stopping for a break on the the advertising hoardings. I just thought, I don't really like his attitude. And then the games after that, even with Grealish injured, Dean Smith hasn't started him, and to date he still hasn't started a game since then. And I thought that's good man management. And he obviously missed out on the most recent England squad. But I do think now, if Grealish is going to be out for much longer, they probably do need to kind of recall him to the squad. And he's probably hopefully learned his lesson. But they definitely do need him in midfield. He definitely adds something.
Roz, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, he was, what was it Roberto Martinez said when he was at Everton? Something like he was a cross between Michael Ballack and Paul Gascoigne, and called him a diamond in the crown of English football talent, which always happens, doesn't it? It's sort of like we saw it with Jack Wilshere, saw it with Ross Barkley. You might be seeing it with Saka, according to Jack, but these kind of young English players always kind of, if they're an attacking midfielder, they're always the next Gazza, right? And I guess it kind of relates to kind of XG for me when people try to use XG.
Oh, here we go.
There are other aspects to it. So like, I don't mind it's an analysis thing, but if someone says, oh well, yeah, we really should have won because we had a higher XG, and it's like, well, actually converting your chances is part of winning the game. You can have 30% possession, the stats don't kind of tell the whole story. With Ross Barkley, he could be the most talented player in the world, but it really hasn't worked out for him. Probably something to do with his attitude, the way he trains. You mentioned Aubameyang earlier, Mus kind of leaving straight after the game. Do you know what Cristiano Ronaldo did after they got back from the Champions League final?
Went to the gym, right?
There you go. Says it all.
So,
With Ross Barkley, are we looking potentially at another player whose career has been kind of heavily affected, tainted, if you like, by Roman Abramovich's money at Chelsea? Because he was doing so well at Everton, and then he was snapped up by Chelsea, wasn't he? And he ended up sitting on the bench. We saw it, you know, with the now Fulham manager Scott Parker. He was so promising at Charlton back in the day. Chelsea bought him. He sat on the bench. You see it with I mean, you could probably list another bunch of players, lads.
Danny Drinkwater.
Danny Drinkwater, Premier League champion.
Yeah, no, with Ross Barkley, you know, he's ended up being more Gaza Strip than Gaza. You know, bombarded with expectations. But I think ultimately, I know Chelsea a lot. Sorry.
That is too dark for a Saturday morning, Mus.
This is why you don't have me on.
Your post watershed puns need to
Yeah, keep it clean. Keep it light. No,
more
I think
Gaza than Gaza. Are you joking?
I don't think you can always lay the blame at Chelsea's door though, just because, you know, they're a demanding club, but that's how they kind of have had so much success. And ultimately, if you don't cut it, if you don't prove yourself, you won't get a run of games, and that's the blame lays somewhere in the middle.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to end our chat there, lads. But I've got a surprise for you. I've put together a little missing men for you. So, but also, usually it's only 5 players blanked out. I've blanked out a few more just to make it even harder and have a really good competition. I thought, you know, we're going to have a slightly shorter show this week because of the lack of Premier League games. I thought I'd put a little quiz in there for you. So here we go. I'm taking you back to, let's see if I can remember, 2003, when Arsenal beat West Ham 3-1, 19th of January 2003. You should be able to see the lineups on your screen now. Arsenal in a 4-4-2, West Ham in a 4-5-1. So it's a little bit of a way back, lads. Can you see that on your screen yet?
Just waiting for it to come up.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, here it is.
Okay,
Yep.
so who won last time out of you two?
It was a draw.
It was a draw. Okay, so how can we decide? I can flip a coin. I've got a coin here, actually. I'll flip a coin. There we go. Look, be prepared. Scouts and all that. Heads or tails, Roz?
Heads.
It is heads. Well done.
Go.
You get to go first.
I'm assuming that. Yeah.
Okay, let me
Yes,
just give you a little heads up here. So I've tried to be as clever as possible with the positions, but there are two centre mids on West Ham's side. So if you're quite certain that you know the left-handed one as opposed to the central one, then go for that. If not, you could give me a general shout for 2 of them and we'll reveal them both at the same time.
Cool. I'm actually going to go Arsenal, and I'm going to go for safe bets and hoping that there are some. I'm going to start with the most obvious one. David Seaman in goal.
Is he right?
No, hold up.
Oh,
Yes, definitely in goal.
oh, that is, I don't know how I feel about that.
No. It hasn't updated yet on the screen, so I didn't see it coming down.
Okay. All right. Well, I need you. Right. Just for the record, both of you, first answer that you give is the answer I'm taking. No changing. Okay. Right. It's 1-0 to Roz. Mus, your go.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Anton Ferdinand at centre back for West Ham.
Okay. Anton Ferdinand. Is he right? No, he isn't. It's Christian Daly, Scottish legend, eh, Roz?
Yeah, that's funny. In the last one, I was going to say Christian Daly, and it ended up being Anton Ferdinand. So it's right,
Okay.
mate. Okay, I'm going to stick to being easy. Let's go Sol Campbell, centre half.
For Arsenal, presumably. And is it Sol Campbell? Yes, it is. 2-0 to Roz. Surprisingly, Mus not going for the Arsenals, and Roz is taking the Arsenal players off you there. 2-0 to Roz after 2 goes. Mus, your second go. Get a point on the board, mate. Come on.
Right. I'm going to try and pull one back. I'm going to go with Dennis Bergkamp. I'm going to say in one of the. Do I have to say? Do I have to say which?
Yep.
I'm guessing the more the one further back.
Okay. Of the
The two centre forwards.
Okay. Yeah. Let's have a look. Is it Dennis Bergkamp? Oh yes, it is the god of football, Dennis Bergkamp, the legend that is my favourite player ever. Love him. So Mus has a point on the board. Roz has 2. Right, it's your 3rd penalty, Roz. Let's go.
I'm gonna, keep it nice and simple. It's done me well so far. Let's go for Ashley Cole left back.
Ashley Cole left back for Arsenal. Mus, is he right?
Well,
I don't think so, but what am I hit? I can't remember.
He's wrong. It's Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Oh.
When did Cashley go to Chelsea?
I don't know. I
2006.
blanked it out of my memory. He was just this was just Van Bronckhorst probably covering for Cole in this one. Okay. The window has opened, Mus, for you.
Yeah.
Time to equalise.
I'm just gonna slot it high into the top corner. I'm gonna go with Thierry Henry, the other centre forward for Arsenal.
Oh, he's hit it right in the top bins. There it is, of course, Thierry Henry. He actually scored a hat-trick in this game, hence the 3-1. Okay, it's 2-2 after 3 goes. Roz, who are you going for?
So I have a feeling that Lauren was one of the last acquisitions in building the Invincible squad, which would have been the season after this. So I'm not going to go for right back. I'm going to go for right midfield, Robert Perez.
Are you like laying a trap there for Mus or something? Trying to trap him. Right mid, Robert Perez, one of the greatest Premier League players of all time, is what you're saying, yeah? Are you trying to change your mind again, Roz? Because if you do, I'm going to dock you points.
Hold up.
No, first answer you've given it, Robert Perez. I'll take it.
On the wrong side, didn't I?
Let's have a look. On the right mid, it's Robert Perez.
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah.
I was tempted to punish you there by letting you guess wrong after. But 3-2 after 4 goes. Mus, your go.
Right. I'm kind of stuck here.
I'm going to have to push you for an answer, mate.
Silence
isn't allowed.
I'm going to fall for Roz's trick. I'm going to go with Lauren.
You're going to go with Laurent Bissanetan, the Cameroonian right back for Arsenal. Is he right, Roz?
Is it Lee Dixon?
No, it was Lauren. Well done, Mus. 3-3 after 4. Mus's celebration. Pipe down. Right, okay. Okay, we're on to our 5th guess. And it's 3-3. Roz, who are you going for?
I'm still gonna shy away from the West Ham players just because I think they've just come up from the Championship at this point, but I'm not too sure on a few of them. I'm gonna sit to Arsenal and go for Freddie Ljungberg on the left, if that's
Freddie Ljungberg on the left. Is he right, Mus?
Could be.
He's wrong. It's Sylvain Wiltord. Yeah, one of Wenger's successful imports.
I was thinking Wiltord or Parlow must be in here. And
so it's 3-3 after 5 pens. We're into sudden death, lads, and there's a few more to guess. Getting a little bit more difficult now. There's 6 West Ham players left, so let's see what you can do, Roz.
Wait, is it in my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Mus's turn. Go for it. My bad.
No worries. So I kind of feel like this is another one of Roz's traps. Because
hang on a minute. Is this a chance for Mus to win? Have I completely forgotten the scoring? Is this?
No. I went first. Well, aren't we just gonna fill the rest of them out?
Oh yeah, we can play it out to the end. Okay, so it's
no. It's the final kick, and I'm gonna go with a Panenka down the middle. But I do feel like Roz has set me up here because why would he have not said this guy, given he's another Millwall legend? But I reckon Steve Lomas may have been.
Oh God.
I'm not sure which position. I'm just gonna go with centre mid.
Okay, you're saying Steve Lomas centre mid. Oh my God, what a massive shout! Let's have a look. Is he right, Is he right, Roz?
Yeah, I can't just say before you reveal it, I'm impressed by his Millwall knowledge that he knows how much of a Millwall legend Steve Lomas wasn't.
I'm going to just build the tension a bit. I'm going to get up his Wikipedia page and tell you a fact or two about Steve Lomas. Right. Did you know Steve Lomas was born in Germany? There you go. Okay. Is it Steve Lomas in centre mid to win the penalty shootout? We'll fill the rest in after anyway, but officially, is he right? Is he right, Roz?
Well, judging by the way you're building it up, yeah.
Mus, sorry, mate. You're right. It was Steve Lomas.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay, right. So officially, that is a win chalked up for Mus. He's won. He's done you 4-3 on pens. Not bad, really, considering the start he had. Okay. There's 4 West Ham players left to get. If you guys can get any of these, I'll be impressed.
Oh, okay. I think Sheringham was at Spuds then. I don't think he joined West Ham until later. I don't imagine much of this side was the same as their 2006.
I reckon maybe Canute. Are we taking it in turns or are we just brainstorming?
Oh yeah, Freddie Canute is a good shout.
You can work together or take it in turns.
Actually,
It's up
Freddie
to you.
Canute might have been it.
Do you want to work together? You guys discuss it.
Let's do a Pires Henry penalty setup.
Yeah.
No, don't do
Yeah,
that.
went well, didn't it? Let me think. Yeah, I think it's too early for Teddy, who genuinely was a Millwall legend. I think it's too early for.
If you're watching,
Yeah,
get in the
I-
comments, and if you've got any guesses for who these remaining West Ham players might be, help
Is it
Roz
too
and
late
miss
for
out.
Canio? Should we go to Canio up top, maybe?
Yeah, well, why not?
So you guys are going for Paolo Di Canio up top for West Ham. Let's have a look. Were you right? Big fat no. It's Jermaine Defoe, the prolific mercenary, up top.
I'll tell you what, the other central midfielder might be Michael Carrick then. I think Michael Carrick moved to Spurs in 2004-5. He was at Man United by 2006. So
Yeah.
I feel like he was at West Ham in 2003.
That's a good shout.
Are you going for it? Is it locked in, guys?
It's better than any guess I have. So
Other centre mid, was it Michael Carrick? No, it wasn't. It's Edouard Cissé, who went on to be a losing Champions League finalist, for Monaco against Jose Mourinho's Porto. Factoid. There you go.
In a side with a young Patrice Evra.
Yes. So you've got Henry was on the bench as well, wasn't he? No, that was another one. Was it? No. I'm getting confused. It was someone else. Anyway, because obviously Henry was playing in this game, so can't. What a pleb. Right, okay. You've got left back, left midfielder, right midfielder, left. You can get I reckon you can get the midfielders. Come on, the left and right mids.
All I can think of is Matty Etherington. That burnt me twice last.
Oh,
Paul
what about
Cook-
Rio Coca?
Nigel
Rio
Coker
Coker,
on
yeah.
one of the wings.
Yeah.
Could be. Go for that. Why not?
Guys, you're all out of ideas, aren't you? Shall I just reveal them? Shall I just pick one out
Hold
the
on,
middle?
hold on. Left back. Did Stuart Pearce ever play for West Ham? I know.
I think so.
Did Stuart Pearce ever play for West Ham? Are you joking? Yeah, of course he did.
Well, it's West Ham. I don't really care, you know. Stuart Pearce, left back. Is he still playing then? No, he's
Okay.
probably managing Man City by then.
Right, I'm going to
Good.
reveal it. Left back, Nigel Winterburn. Come on, lads.
That's nice. Yeah.
Obviously
Little
moved
plot
from
twist.
Arsenal just the year before. Saw out his career at West Ham, didn't he, with a couple of seasons there.
Yeah.
Left midfielder and right midfielder, 2 Englishmen here. Both represented their country, one a bit more than the other. On the left, Joe Cole.
Yeah.
And on the right, Trevor Sinclair. There you go, lads. That is
Oh, well.
our missing men for this week. A little bonus extra missing men for you. And maybe I'll dream up another missing men for us tomorrow, or do some sort of quiz or something, or I'll ask you to do an 11. What would you rather do? 11s, missing men?
I mean, I like the competition aspect, given that I'm doing so well in these. I've scraped to draw and I've lost twice.
Need to get that win up on the board. Mus, so have you won a couple then?
Yeah, I've won 2. I think we've drawn 2 as well.
Interesting.
But you know, you've just given me an idea with Edouard Cisse, because there are a few like football heritage names that are just like kind of, you know, through the ages. So next time I'm just going to say Dembele, Cisse, because there'll be like a 1 in 5 chance that there'll be a Dembele or a Cisse playing.
Yeah, love that, love that. Okay, lads, well, thanks for joining me. I'm just going to run through your predictions one more time as we look at this week's fixtures. So later on tonight, Brighton host Newcastle at 8 o'clock. Roz, you said 2-1 Dunk, and Mus, you said 2-0 Trossard. Sunday, 3 o'clock, West Ham Arsenal. You both said 1-1. Roz, you said Antonio. Mus, you said Lingard. And then Villa Spurs, 7:30 tomorrow. Roz, you said 3-1 to Spurs, Bale. And Mus, you said 2-1 to Spurs, Harry Kane. So there are your predictions, lads. I hope you have a good Saturday and Sunday morning and afternoon. I'll see you tomorrow night for EPLW, where we will review 2 games and build up to 1. It's pretty lightweight show we've got ahead of us. If you've enjoyed this show, then you can follow us on Twitter at EPLW Pod. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Joe Carter EPLW. And we'll see you tomorrow night at 6:30. Thanks for joining us. See you later, guys.
See ya.
Am I-